Welcome again to Playwright with Java Automation Testing Session 12. In this session, you will get to know how to use XPath Locator in Playwright with Java. So in previous session, you already get the idea what are Playwright Element Locator, what are the different 7 built-in locator, how to use them. But here we will learn how to interact with element using XPath Locator in Playwright. While Playwright support XPath, it is generally recommended to use more user-centric locator like get by role, get by text, get by label whenever possible. These are less prone to break when the DOM structure changes. XPath can be useful for complex scenario where other locators are not sufficient or not available or not working. The page.locator method is used to create a locator that describes how to find an element on the web page. It accepts a selector string that can be a CSS selector or an XPath expression. XPath selector in Playwright provides a powerful and flexible way to select elements based on their structure and content within the HTML document. XPath allows user to navigate the DOM tree using paths, offering features that go beyond the capabilities of CSS selectors. Use XPath expression to select element based on their hierarchical positions in the DOM or specific attribute. XPath provides a powerful way to navigate complex DOM structure or select element based on sibling or ancestors relationship as well. So what is XPath and why user need to use it? XPath is defined as XML path. XML is nothing but extensive markup language. So XPath is a syntax or language for finding any element on the web page using XML path expression. XPath is used to find the location of any element on a web page using HTML DOM structure. DOM is nothing but the document object model structure. XPath is a technique in Playwright that allows user to navigate the structure of a web page HTML. XPath is syntax for finding element on web page. XPath in Playwright can be used on both HTML and XML documents. There are primarily two types of XPaths available, relative and absolute XPath. So relative XPath is more like starting simply by referencing the element user want and navigate from the particular location. It begins from the current location and is prefixed by a double slash. So it will be double slash, then your input tag name, then third bracket @ attribute equal to within the first quote attribute value, and we need to end with third bracket. Whereas absolute XPath contains the complete path from the root element to the desired element or the root to node element. It begins with the root path and is prefixed by a slash. So it will start with the root and it will go to the node. So absolute XPath is not recommended to use because in the root to node, whenever traversing any point of time, any element might change and then it will definitely fail. So it is better to use the relative XPath. We will see different techniques how to create our own customized relative XPath in this session. So some simple common expression associated with XPath, I have tried to cover it here. Basic XPath expression select nodes or list of nodes on the basis of attribute like ID, name, class name, etc. from the XML document. Contents is a method used in XPath expression. It is used when the value of any attribute changes dynamically using or and AND. In OR expression, two conditions are used. Whether first or second condition should be true, it should be applicable if any one condition is true or maybe both. Means any of the conditions should be true to find the element. Whereas AND will be used or will be used in case out of two anything is working, whereas AND will be working in case only both are working. Couple of instances where maybe with one attribute we are not able to identify the element, so we can use multiple attribute or two attribute. Within this two attribute we can definitely uniquely able to identify the element, so we can use AND expression. Text, sometimes this mechanism is used to locate an element based on the text available on a web page. Start with is used to identify an element when we are familiar with the attribute value starting with specified text of an element. So this is the basic sample XPath symbol I have tried to depict it in this slide. So whenever we are trying to create our own custom XPath, it will be / tag name, third bracket @ attribute name equal to value, and value will be within the single quote. We need to end with third bracket. Or in case we do not know the tag name, we can use / start. Otherwise, the main thing will be same. Okay. So here, in case you want to use an or, so again / tag name, type, right, attribute 1 equal to value, or attribute 2 equal to value, and we can use and as well instead of or. In case with unique attribute we are not able to identify the element, but sometime maybe true attribute is working fine, we can use or, so that in case something is getting changes we can use the other one. Especially for the link or whenever text is available, we can use that text name part, where / tag name, third bracket, text equal to, and text name within the first quote we need to end with the third bracket. And after that we can use some start with or contents as well, where we need to give attribute and the corresponding value, start with value or the contents value. So content will work with the for the start with or middle portion as well as the end with part. But in case we are actually validating something with some start with text which is fixed part, we can use definitely start with. Otherwise we can use content for the middle part or the end part. So let's see the implementation of the XPath locators in Playwright with Java. So I have created a class Playwright session 12. So these are the steps which is the precondition to create a new page in browser, and we are navigating to the Facebook page. Now let's go to the Facebook page and let's try to interact with the email field with some of the stuff. So first thing is that as and when with that particular inspect element we are mousing over to any element, we will able to see the different tag name and different attribute for this particular element on the web page. So what we will do, we will try to deal with some default, relative and absolute XPath. So here page.locator method we need to take the help, and we will try to give the default relative XPath. So we need to click on the triple dot, copy XPath and give it within the double quote, and this is the input field. So what we need to do, we can fill some value, say Haradhan, we can use it. Now let's try to end with semicolon and let's try to run the code and let's see whether it's working fine or not. So if you try to execute the code, it will try to open the Facebook page, it will try to identify the element, email element with the like default relative XPath, and it is entering the value. So it is working fine. Now we will try to work with the default absolute XPath, which will be starting from the root, it will go to the node. So what will it will work. So right click again, copy full XPath. So it will be, I can just give it here. Okay, let's copy this line again. And here I will change it. So again, right click on the triple dot, copy full XPath. So this is the absolute XPath instead of relative XPath. So what we will do, we are just trying to paste that locators, whatever is coming completely. So let's copy this code completely and we will paste that locator fully here. So this is the absolute XPath, we can use it. So triple click and then copy full XPath. So this is the absolute XPath, we will try to paste it here. Okay, you could see it is starting with HTML to start, no, I mean parent tag, right, or the root node, and then it is traversing one by one, it is going to the input field and we are trying to enter the value as a field, right, with the field method. Now the problem is that though absolute XPath might be correct, still it might not work sometime. So that is the reason it is not recommended to use absolute XPath at all. Always prefer to use relative XPath default, or right, we can create our own XPath by our own. Right, you could see this is not working. So that default complete absolute XPath we have taken, but it is not working. It is throwing the error. Okay, so we should not rely on that one. Now we'll see how to create our own XPath by our own. So this is the strategy, we can follow it, right, to creating the XPath. So / tag name attribute name equal to value within the first quote. So what we will do, right, this is the input tag, and you could see there is a ID or name field is there as email. So what we will do, after inspecting the element in the page, let's press Ctrl F, then give / input. So this is the tag name, right, / tag name, third bracket, attribute value, what is the attribute name equal to, and then what is the value email within the first quote email, and end with that one, name equal to email, end. You could see 1 out of 1 element is being visible here. So this is the XPath, I can copy it, right. Now here what we can do, we can replace this one with our own customized XPath with the help of the tag name, attribute, and the corresponding attribute value. And now I can try to execute the code. So definitely it should work. So it will again open the Facebook page. It will try to identify the email field with the help of the XPath we have created manually, and it is entering the value Haradhan. So it is perfectly working fine. Now another XPath we can try to create it without the tag, right? This is the stuff is mentioned here. Without the tag name, if I give start, so it will consider also work. But we need to make sure that 1 of 1 element is being visible, right? It should be always, otherwise it should not work. So if you replace that one, it should still work. Okay. Now we will see how to create XPath with multiple attribute with the help of the or and operation. Sometime in case with that particular one attribute it is not possible to identify the element, so we can use and operations as well. So what we can do here, we can give and what are the attributes available here for that email field. Okay, you could see, right, class is there, name is there, ID is there, right. So you can use @ID again, @ID equal to email. So okay, you could see still with the help of that multiples locator, with the help of the AND operation, we are able to identify the 1 out of 1 element. So we can take that reference. So we'll just copy this line of code and we'll comment it out here. We'll try to use the XPath which we have tried to create it using the AND operation. So we'll replace it here and we'll see whether our code is working perfectly fine or not with the help of our customized XPath and with the locator element technique. So it will again open the Facebook page. It will try to identify the element email field with the help of the multiple attribute value, whatever way we have created our customized XPath. So it is entering the value Haradhan as well. Now what we can do, instead of, in case both the locator is perfectly fine, instead of and we can try to use or. You could see with using the or as well, 1 of 1 element is being displayed, so you can try to use that or as well here. We can replace it, it will still work. So that is the way, right, we can try to interact with the element by creating our own customized XPath with the help of different strategy like / tag name, attribute name equal to attribute value, or like using multiple attribute using and or operations. Okay, we could see the Haradhan is being like entered into the email field. So this code also working fine, right? So we have also already learned how to use these first two, tag name attribute equal to attribute and value, and / start attribute name equal to value, and also we have used and or operations for the XPath customized XPath creation. Now in case some link is available, we can use text and we can use text name. So there is a link available called forget password. So this part I will try to create a XPath. So what we will do, okay, you could see this text is forget password and tag name is starting with anchor tag. So here again press Ctrl F / anchor tag third bracket text equal to the corresponding value we need to give end with. You could see one element is being displayed. So this is the strategy you need to follow. / tag name third bracket text first bracket close, you need to equal to the text name and you need to close with end third bracket. So that is the stuff we need to use for the XPath. So what we'll do again, go to the code here, we will try to click on that link hyperlink. So again page dot locator, and here I can give the our customized XPath with the help of the text, and it's a link or hyperlink, we can simply use click method. So that is the way we can try to click on that particular forgotten password link. Okay, now we'll try to run the code. We'll see it is opening the Facebook page, it is identifying the email field, it is entering the value Haradhan, it is also identifying the link forgotten password with the help of that like anchor tag and the text value, and is clicking on that options, right? You could see the code is working perfectly fine. So mostly we already seen right here except this content part and start with part. Okay, now we'll see these two options as well, how to use this part contents and start with an and contents part. So we'll comment out this part. So here we will try to navigate to one of the another page, ready create new account page. So this is the page we can navigate to implement this part. So this is the ready create ready account page. So we'll replace that one, the page. Now what we will do, we will see here there is a mobile number field is available, right? Okay, so now if you just right click on the inspect button, so you are able to see the name field is there, right? Mobile number and some other part is coming, DC other part. So the main problem is that the name attribute is there, but if you use name attribute it will still not work. Why? Because in the name attribute value, there is a static part called MOBNO number, and remaining is dynamic part, and that dynamic part will change every time. So that is the problem. It will not work with the help of the name attribute, right? You cannot create the XPath using name because name is having two part. One is static part, one is dynamic part, and dynamic part will change every time. So what is the way you can do it? Create the XPath with the help of the name. So here we can use start with or contents for the customized XPath creation. So what we will do, tag name is input and name starting with mob num. So if again press Ctrl F / input third bracket. Here what we need to do in case we want to do is start with strats hyphen with again first bracket. Okay, and you know need to give @ and attribute equal to value. So what is the attribute? Name comma what is starting with MOBNO mob number, which is the static part, not the dynamic, which is always static. You could see one field is being displayed. So now we can copy that XPath and we can try to interact with this element dot locator, and we can give the value here. Again it's the text field, so what we can do, we can fill and we can enter some value. Anything, any value, right? We can enter it into the mobile number field. Now let's try to run the code and let's see what's happening here. It will open the Rediff, right, new account creation page. It will try to identify the mobile number field. It will enter the value. You could see this value is being entered, right? Though our name was having some static and dynamic component, but with the static component only we are able to create the XPath, okay, with the help of the start with attribute. But start with only work for the starting part in case we know the starting part, but sometimes the static part is not static. Maybe static part some dynamic component is there, right? So what we can do, you can use content. So in the middle or in the end with part, in case something is matching, we can still work with that. So here instead of start with part, we will do what part? Contents. It will still work because mobile number part is contents, or if we remove the mo, only bno, right? Still you could see it's identifying one of one element. So wherever static part is there, either start with, middle or end with, we can try to use contents. But in the start with part, starting part, in case some of the part is static, better to use start with the option for creating the customized XPath. But in the middle or end part, we can use contents, and the middle or the end portion of the whatever static part, we can try to use it, right? Now we'll see, we'll copy that thing, and we'll try to change it here, and we'll see whether the code is still working fine or not with the help of the contents. Simply just replacing, right? bno. So we are just using three keyword here. With these three particular keyword, right, we are still able to identify the element, and we are able to interact with the element based on the element type. Here it is a text field, so we are using field method. So it will open the page. Okay, some problem here. Let's try to run it once more time. It is opening the page and is entering the value here. You could see, right? This value is being entered. So if you expand it and if you go down here, you could see this value is being entered. So that is the way, right? You can try to interact with the element with the help of the XPath. So definitely you can try to use the default relative XPath, default absolute XPath, but it is not recommended to use default absolute XPath at all, because it will start from the like root to the node element, which might not work always. And definitely always we also cannot rely on the default relative XPath. Better to create our own relative customized XPath. So we can use / tag name @attribute name equal to value, or / star, or sometime we can use and or combination with multiple attribute. In case it is a link, we can try to use the text, and we can use start with or contents in case some of the particular attribute is having some component static, some as dynamic. So this is the way we can try to create our own customized XPath, and we can try to work with Playwright with the, and we can try to identify the element with the help of the XPath locator in Playwright with Java. So that's all from today's session, guys. Thank you.